All right, it is time now once again for the Don and Eli Take on the World podcast. My name is Elias Mellis, but you can call me Eli for short. And who's this incredibly sexy, wonderful, sweet, kind, loving, caring, considerate, and just, again, amazing lady here to my right?
Well, I'm Dawn Ledgerwood, and I am your girlfriend. And also the co-president? No.
The vice president of the GNA.
I'm the vice president of the GNA.
Director of Operations.
Director of Operations. Yes, I messed that one up.
That's okay.
I had just a total, brain fog moment. That's okay.
That's okay.
Let's go.
That's okay. Let's just get right to it anyway, and we'll fix it as we go along. Welcome back to another episode of the Don and Eli Take on the World podcast. Today is episode number 71, and the title today is Own It, Accountability versus Responsibility. One more time. Episode number 71 of the Don and Eli Take on the World podcast is titled Own It, Accountability versus Responsibility. So, babe, today we are talking about two words that people use all the time. I butchered it too. Responsibility and accountability. People often use these words as though they mean exactly the same thing, but there may be an important difference between them. Responsibility is usually about what we are expected to do. Accountability is about being willing to answer for what we actually did. Responsibility may be assigned to us, but accountability requires us to own the results. And again, today's episode is called Own It, Accountability versus Responsibility. Most of us like being recognized when something goes right. We like receiving credit. We like being told that we made a good decision. We like being appreciated for the work we completed. And we like knowing that our actions produced a positive result. But when something goes wrong, babe, owning our part can become much more difficult. We may immediately begin explaining why it was not really our fault. Boy, I'm guilty of that one.
Mm-hmm.
We may say that another person made us do it. We may say that we were tired, that we were stressed, that we were angry, that we misunderstood, that we did not have enough time. Sounds a lot like me. That nobody explained the expectations, or that somebody else did something even worse. And sometimes those details matter. Context matters. Intent matters. Circumstances matter. And we should not accept responsibility for something that genuinely does not belong to us. But there is a difference between explaining what happened and using an explanation to avoid accountability. There is a difference between understanding why we made a mistake and pretending that the mistake was not ours. There is a difference between saying, I made this decision because I was overwhelmed, and saying I was overwhelmed, so none of this is my fault. Accountability, that's funny. Accountability means being able to say, this is what happened. This is the part that belongs to me. This is who was affected. This is what I should have done differently. And this is what I am going to do now. That does not mean we have to destroy ourselves emotionally. It does not mean calling ourselves stupid, worthless, a failure, or a terrible person. Shame says, I am bad. Accountability says, I made a bad decision and I need to deal honestly with it. Shame can make people hide. Accountability can help people change. And accountability is extremely important in relationships. If you hurt somebody and refuse to acknowledge it, trust begins to disappear. If you promise to do something and repeatedly fail to follow through, your words begin to lose value. If you always blame other people for every conflict, nobody can resolve anything with you. like the unreasonable people. And if you apologize without changing your behavior, the apology eventually becomes meaningless. At the same time, accountability must be fair. Some people take responsibility for everything. They blame themselves for another person's emotions. They apologize simply to keep the peace. They accept mistreatment because they believe every conflict must somehow be their fault.
I'm a victim of her. I'm guilty of that.
Oh, yeah, me too. But that is not healthy accountability, babe. That is taking ownership of something that may not belong to you. So today, Dawn and I are going to explore both sides. When should we take responsibility? What does accountability actually require? Why is admitting that we were wrong so difficult? How do we hold other people accountable without becoming controlling? That's a difficult one. And how do we forgive ourselves while still learning from our mistakes? Now, I've got 5 questions to ask you here in a few, babe. But before we get to all of that, as always, I must first ask you, how's the past week gone for you here at the wonderful organization we run, the GNA, which is short for Genuine Networking Association, my love?
Another great week. Really no complaints. Great communication with the team. Lots of good stuff coming up. Yeah, and as far as our personal life, a lot of the same old things. Just getting some work done, working on the house, working with family, and planning for a lot of fun things towards the end of the summer. I think that's what our main plan is try to figure out how we can end this summer on a high note, between just us as couples going out and doing things and just spending that quality time together,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anything else you want to add to that, my love?
No, my love.
Before we started recording this show, my lovely lady paid me a compliment, a very nice compliment about how I look and all of that. And I said, oh. And, I really honestly appreciate it. I really do. But I said, oh, because first of all, I'm very humble. Second of all, I've just been so focused on getting tasks done. I've been so focused on doing whatever I can and whatever I have to do to provide for my family, including my lovely lady Dawn, our dogs, my mother, my brother, my aunt, my cousin. And I'm not going to lie, I've been very tired. I've been overwhelmed, but it's all good stuff. Everything's getting done. There's just been a lot to do. And so my week has been hectic but good. Like I said last week, babe, I'll say the same thing again. Organized chaos.
Yeah.
It's organized chaos. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes certain weeks are going to be about working a little bit more and focusing a little more time on tasks than relaxing and appreciating wonderful compliments like you give me. But once everything is all set, like this week, I did a lot of prep work that's going to save us a lot of time and energy on future tasks between now and the foreseeable future. So sometimes, you're going to take a week and you're going to overwhelm yourself or you're going to do more than you normally do. But if you do the right things to prepare for the future, your future weeks will be a lot easier. So I wanted to put that out there because I respect and appreciate your compliments, even though I've never been good at accepting compliments from anyone, let alone my lovely lady that's lived with me for 4 years. I've always been more about giving than taking. I've always been more about complimenting others than being complimented. Because honestly, what makes me a happy person is seeing other people happy. I'm happy deep within. Even during my worst times, even during moments of sadness that I've dealt with many times in my life, I'm still internally happy. I'm still, I still try to be a positive person. I still care about other people. And that's just how I've always been. And I don't know how else to be then. And that's why I started this organization, the GNA, because I've been more about giving than taking. But I have to learn to at least take a little bit because, if you never take anything, then, you're not going to have anything to give to anyone else. Right, babe?
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to mention that the week's gone really well. I'm still, working a bunch of freelancing opportunities to bring in some extra money. I'm going to probably be doing that for the foreseeable future, at least maybe for the next 6 months to a year or so. It has really taken off a lot of stress off of us financially. It's really helped us out. Unfortunately, we have a little less time to spend together because of that. But you know what? We're building for our future. And that's one thing we should talk about down the road, babe, is, work harder and smarter now when you're younger so you can have more to enjoy your golden years. You don't want to go into your golden years, into your 60s and 70s and still be, working like a slave. You want to eventually retire and actually enjoy life in the way it was meant to be enjoyed. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. You know that is my dad's way of living. Work smarter than harder. And now look at him. Now look at him in retirement.
I believe it has to be a combination of both. I mean, look, I believe that all work, even work that I may consider easy, all work has a level of difficulty. So you still have to work hard, but you need to work smart at the same time. Okay? Don't be lazy. And when I say work hard, I'm just saying in another way, don't be lazy. But also, don't just work hard. Work smart. Work efficiently and effectively.
That is what my dad is saying, is the smarter you work, the less hard you're going to have to work in the future because you do things the right way.
Right. And if you can make more money in less time, that's better because then you have more time and you're more flexible to spend with the people you care for. And so that's how my week went. I was able to do one Walking with Purpose live stream on YouTube. I fit that in. I was going to do one after this show is done recording. We record these shows on Sundays. They get released on Wednesdays, typically Sundays. Sometimes, Mondays or Tuesdays if Sundays don't work. But, other things came up, and that's just the way it goes sometimes. So, I'll get to it when I can. But, yeah, the week's gone well. And, let's keep on moving forward, onwards and upwards. Right, baby?
Yeah, always.
Anything else before we get to the first 5 questions?
No, I don't think so. I'm excited.
The only 5 questions, because then after that, we also have 3 Reddit postings.
Oh, okay.
That we're going to go over during the second half of the show on the topic. And I must say, before we get to the questions, Dawn came up with this topic. This was Dawn's idea, and I just thought it was brilliant. When I first heard her talk about this earlier on in the week, I've had a long week, and I've been working my ass off, and she mentioned it, and I was sitting on the couch, and I was already out of it, and she can tell. She knows.
Yeah.
She knows when I'm doing so much around the house, and then working these side jobs and stuff like that. She knows sometimes I'm not really all there. But I just thought it was a good topic. I said, yeah, you know what? Just, remind me on Sunday, and then we'll make it happen. And here we are. Great topic, babe.
Yes.
Great topic.
Yes.
So,
I'm excited about it.
absolutely. Ready to get right to it?
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to question number 1. We are at 14, almost 15 minutes. Excellent. Question number 1, babe. Dawn, what do responsibility and accountability personally mean to you? And do you believe there's an actual difference between them?
Yes, there is a difference. And it took me many, 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 many years to learn the difference. When you're taking responsibility, it's as simple as like, I forgot to shut the light off. I'm sorry. I did that. I'll try not to do it again. That's just taking responsibility for one single action that you've done. Taking accountability, on the other hand, is you have done an action and it has caused a reaction from somebody. And now you have to own it. You have to explain why you acted that way. You have to ask them how it affected them. Mm-hmm. It's a lot like an intervention type of conversation, as far as like, okay, so your behavior in this way has hurt me in so many ways. But it's actual conversation between the two people. And if you, as far as accountability, if you listen and take in what you hear, that is a lesson that's going to make it so that you don't act that way in the future. And just taking responsibility, it's as simple as just, forgetting to lock a door and being like, oh, my bad, forgetting to grab the mail, I'll do it, I'll grab it tomorrow. I'm sorry. That's that. Then it's over with. But accountability is an actual action that has caused another action on another person. So that takes a lot longer to remedy and make up, Mm-hmm. That's the difference to me. And Eli was saying in the beginning of the show, it is about owning it yourself. Absolutely, owning that responsibility, because like he said, if you say, yeah, I did that, I'm sorry, I won't do it again, but then next week you do the same thing and you do the same thing, well, now your word is no good. Mm-hmm. And now it is an accountability.
You're not holding yourself accountable.
Yeah, now it is an accountability issue. First, it was just responsibility. Mm-hmm. Now I have to hold you accountable because you're not changing.
And a lot of people do not want to be held accountable.
Oh, God, no. Because that has to mean
because they're wrong. Because they're irresponsible.
It means they have to admit they're wrong.
Right. And they don't want to admit that they've been irresponsible and they're continuing to be irresponsible instead of correcting the behavior. Right?
Yes. No, yes.
Anything else you want to add to that?
No, I think just because it probably will be covered in one of the other questions.
Oh, absolutely.
So there's a lot. Yeah, I could probably finish this whole thing in that one question by talking and talking and talking. But let's see if it comes up in one of your other questions. You are very excited over
this topic here. I'm so. Give me 5. Give me 10.
I was reading on this, mm-hmm. and I had heard it be said a few times in my life.
Yeah.
To me, And I didn't I was like, well, I said I did it. I'm sorry. But I didn't give them a reason to why I behaved the way I did, to ask them how it affected them, and to come up with a way to make a change in a positive way.
Because you weren't ready to hold yourself accountable yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're saying, okay, I made you feel this way, or I put this burden on you. So I need to be a better person towards this person and not be so heavy on them. You know what I'm saying? It's just a matter of...
You have to put yourself in their shoes.
Yeah.
And see how you would feel if you were approached that way, right?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Anything else, my love?
No.
Okay, should I answer that question, babe?
Absolutely.
Okay. You're holding me accountable. That's great. That's the truth of the matter.
Yes.
I can be funny at times.
He cracks me up.
You know what the funny thing is? Somebody on YouTube many years ago said, Eli is accidentally funny.
Yeah.
And I got to say, you're probably right, because I'm really not funny normally.
Props, yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Hats off to you, dude. You know who you are, and it's none of the people that are currently watching me. It's somebody from the past that no longer watches me. But anyway, so what do responsibility and accountability personally mean to me, and do I believe there's an actual difference between them? Yeah, they do go hand in hand, though. First of all, being a responsible person is critical. You need to learn responsibility at a young age. Typically, your parents will teach you responsibility. The problem nowadays is parents are coddling their kids for whatever reason. Maybe they're both working and they're just trying to keep them happy because they're not around as much, right? But you gotta learn responsibility, whether your parents teach it to you or not. You gotta figure it out by the time you get into your early 20s, or at least by your mid 20s, because if not, once you leave the nest, once you leave home, it's going to be much more difficult for you to survive and navigate this crazy modern digital world we all live in. Do you agree so far?
Well, yeah, and those responsibilities start very young in childhood.
Right.
Pick up your toys. You start at a very young age with a simple task.
Wash the dishes.
When they get older.
Sweep.
Yeah.
Right.
Take the dog out. Chores. That's what chores were made for.
Right.
Chores were made for that, to teach a responsibility.
And go ahead.
And then if that action does not get done, you could hold that person responsible and ask them why it hasn't been done.
Or you could hold them accountable, you mean?
Yes, I meant accountable. Thank you.
Yeah. If they're irresponsible with their chores or anything else, then you start to hold them accountable.
Yes.
For being irresponsible. No, I knew what you meant.
And I think that's where a lot of the reward allowance systems come into the place of you do your chores, and everything goes well. You get your homework done. We're going to give you so much. Back in our day, it was like $1. Now it's probably like $50 or something. It's insane what they give their kids. But,
oh yeah. Well, times have changed, babe.
Yeah. Inflation, eh?
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that goes all the way back to our core, like childhood, where we came from. And if you haven't been raised with those responsibilities, then you're starting life behind the 8 ball, and you're going to have to catch up real quick.
And it's not going to be easy.
No, because somebody will hold you responsible.
Because when you get to a certain age, you're used to doing things a certain way. You're set in your ways, and it's really hard to break that chain. But you have to. You have to. So being a responsible person in general is critical. I've always been responsible for the most part. I'm not saying I've never made mistakes. I have. But Dawn and everyone else that knows me, they know I'm kind of a square, especially when it comes to the law, speed limit, parking. Like for me, I try to be a stickler with the law. I try to do everything as best as possible as it should be done. I never try to usually, cross the line or ride the line or play any system or anything like that. Now, accountability is where if somebody is not being responsible, then they need to be held accountable. And first and foremost, they should be holding themselves accountable. Everyone should learn to hold themselves accountable. But if you don't understand what responsibility is in the first place, you're not going to understand what accountability is or means, or what holding yourself accountable means. I heard this when I was in my 20s, and I was working in retail, and I had one of my first managerial or supervisory positions. I was told you got to learn to hold yourself more accountable, even for the actions of your employees, because you're the one that is directing them. And whatever they do or don't do falls on you.
Mm-hmm.
So in life, you have to learn to hold yourself accountable for whatever it is that you're responsible for. Okay. It could be managing people at work. It could be, let's say you're a father or a mother. Your kids are a big responsibility, right? And both parents need to hold themselves accountable for whatever happens to their kids, good, bad, indifferent, whatever, right? So to me, they are two different things, but they coincide. They go hand in hand. And I just think, we need to focus in this world to better teach our youth, our kids, responsibility from a very young age, because it'll be a lot easier. That's part of the problem that's not happening. That's why a lot of these kids have become entitled, spoiled. And as these kids now have gotten into their late 20s and 30s and 40s, and their parents still coddle them, their parents still support them financially, at least somewhat, for some of them completely. I mean, that's not going to teach people responsibility. And these people are not going to have any accountability. So, we got to focus on, teaching responsibility at a younger age. And that's where it starts. What are your thoughts real quick on that? And
well, yeah,
move to number 2.
When you teach responsibility at a young age, you also have to show that person that you're also responsible and you follow through with your actions. How many times have we heard the funny thing, like, I learned it by watching you, Dad? Well, if the dad is...
Mom and dad are the role models.
Yeah, if the mom and
right?
dad aren't doing the same thing that they're encouraging their children to do, then why would their children...
Well, if they're doing the same thing that they're encouraging their kids not to do, or they don't want their kids to do, they're just going to repeat...
Confuse your kids.
Right. Kids are going to duplicate their parents' behavior.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to say.
So if you're seeing, in this modern world, if you're seeing someone in their 40s behaving erratically, a lot of that has to do with their parents and how they raised them when they were younger.
Well, let's think about some psychological things here. As a young man yourself, think back to being, you're a middle-aged man. Let me rephrase. You're a middle-aged man.
I'm middle-aged. I'm 52 years old.
But
proud.
Yes. When you were younger and you looked up to your parents, you saw how they lived their life, and you reflected on that from the responsibilities that they instilled in you and your brother growing up, and then you could look back and reflect on the lessons learned. And is that why now Eli is so, particular about following certain things of the law? Is that because his father drilled it into him over the years, that he is now, this is what I have to do. Because, I know I'm accountable if something goes wrong,
Yeah.
So I've always given your parents a lot of kudos. I give mine a lot of kudos. They both have done great jobs at raising us. I think my only thing is I did struggle with the difference between taking responsibility and taking accountability. And it took me a while to learn.
Well, you were the first born, and I think your parents had the first learn. And I'm not blaming your parents. Trust me, your mother is the last person I will ever blame for anything ever again. I've learned that one. Oops, give me a second here.
Sorry, guys.
I did not expect the landline to ring in the middle of the show, spam call, but anyway. I usually will unplug it during the show, but oh well. It is what it is. I still have one of those. Yeah, I've learned that, I will never blame her. I really don't try to blame anyone for anything. I just like to help people better their lives. But yes, my dad my mom, my dad were amazing role models. Did they get everything right? No, no parents do. But were their intentions pure? Were they good role models? Did they do the best they could with what they knew to set the example for my brother and I? Absolutely. Now, my brother and I, we were young, and we were little shits, pardon our French. And
tell me what child isn't a little shit.
What child's not going to be that way? But now we're in our 50s, and we're not perfect. No one's perfect. But I think we turned out okay. And I have my parents to thank for that. Not only my parents, but my entire family, my dad's side of the family and my mom's side of the family, her parents, and my dad's parents, grandparents on both sides, they're all in a better place now. So is my dad. My aunt's still around. She was a great support and still is. My cousin, and just, my brother and I, we were just very, very fortunate to have such great nurturing love. And again, we made mistakes. Did my parents get everything right? No. But were their intentions to get everything right? Absolutely. I can honestly say that right now. My mother is still around, and she's an amazing mother. She does have her moments, like everyone does, even to this day. But I'm just so grateful for her. And grateful for my dad, who's been in a better place for nearing 20 years now. So, all right, let's get to the next one, babe.
Yeah.
Let's get to the next one here. Number 2. Babe, why do you believe people often become defensive, make excuses, or blame somebody else when they are confronted about something they did wrong?
See, this was something I was going to touch on with question 1, was the whole gaslighting.
But you waited because you knew these questions were coming.
I knew they were all going to kind of, come together.
Intertwine with each other. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
So this comes in with the gaslighting. It comes in with going in and making an excuse that it was somebody else. Like, I didn't really want to go out tonight, but I had to go. My best friend needed somebody, or didn't want to really drink, but everybody else was drinking, or, just things like that. And that's the peer pressure also. And a lot of people, when they do these things and they gaslight and they literally get to a mindset that they feel as if they are invincible in the responsibility category. They've placed blame on everybody else for who they are today, without taking one look in the mirror. And like I say to a lot of people, if you have a group of 30 people, 29 of them are all saying one thing, one person saying another. Who's likely right? 29 people. So it goes with that saying, is like, you can't, like your mother says, don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining.
Don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining. Now, anything else, babe?
No.
So my response regarding, do I believe people often become defensive, make excuses, or blame somebody else when they are confronted about something they did wrong? Here's my response. It goes back to a late and great man that's in a better place as well, and he said that he's starting with the man in the mirror, and he's asking him to change his ways. And no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make that change. Right?
Yeah. Ooh, I got goosebumps. Yes.
Come on,
MJ.
I have a song for everything. Now,
MJ.
Michael Jackson, God rest your soul.
If anybody does not know that reference, then
love you, Michael. You became a bit weird the last 10, 15 years of your life, but I still have love for you, man. You're
I love
legend,
the 1980s, Michael.
Right. No, I hear you. Before the Jesus juice thing, I get it.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway.
God bless him.
God bless him and the Jesus juice. Oh my
He's
God.
up there sipping it with him now.
Oh man. You got to start with yourself. You got to hold yourself accountable. You got to be responsible and accept responsibility when you make a mistake. Or if you so happen to slip into being irresponsible, whether you realize it or not, you got to figure it out as soon as possible and accept responsibility and apologize.
And you know, if you're also acting a certain way and it goes against what you truly feel or who you feel you are,
Mm-hmm.
but you're still acting that way, that's when you really want to look in the mirror and ask yourself, why am I projecting this kind of feeling on people, or, you know, that kind of stuff? And really just have a come to Jesus talk and why am I doing this and what can I do to change?
You know what causes projections, babe? Didn't mean to cut you off, but it was a perfect segue.
Yeah.
You know what causes projections? Insecurities.
Yeah.
People are insecure over things.
Their shortcomings.
Yeah, their shortcomings, things that they don't have, or they're comparing themselves to other people they wish they could be like.
Yes.
And the thing is, instead of investing your time wishing you could be like somebody, how about strive to get to where you want to be for yourself?
Strive to be the best person you are, not be the best person that person is.
Yeah.
Look within.
It's not about trying to be better than anyone else. It's about trying to become the best version of yourself that you can be. That's it. That's that. And listen, I didn't know that, 20, 30 years ago. I learned that in my 40s. Okay. Not even in my 30s did I understand that. We're all going to have shortcomings. We're all going to project. We're all going to make mistakes. But at some point, you get to late 30s or early 40s. Most people nowadays. And then you start to realize, wow. I used to try to cover up all my lies and all my mistakes instead of admitting my faults and just accepting responsibility. Where people would start to respect me just for being honest. Like, people don't care if you make mistakes. They care about if you try to cover up those mistakes. And when you try to cover them up, they're very apparent. It's very obvious, right? And you're doing it to try to make yourself still look good in front of your friends or family, but they already know you're lying to them and you're only making yourself look worse, right? So, it's just better to accept responsibility, and you want to hold yourself accountable and accept responsibility for your actions.
When you do that, you're going to feel a whole lot better about yourself. You won't want to project out towards others unless it's projecting kindness and positivity.
Absolutely. We are at 38 minutes. You're excused. Okay, question number 3, babe. Dawn?
Yeah.
Can someone genuinely apologize and take accountability if they continue repeating the same behavior, or does true accountability require visible change?
Requires visible change. Okay, so let me use myself as an example. I could have talked until I was blue in the face on how the drinking wasn't affecting me or all of this, or wasn't. Like, I used to always say, you know what? I'm sitting here in my house and I'm drinking. How the hell is this affecting my kids or my parents or my friends? Well, even though they're not in front of me, they still knew what I was doing, and they still knew what I was doing to my body. They still knew every time I got into the car, I was potentially going to die. So, I never really took accountability for their feelings of fear, of worry, of just sadness, because they don't want to see me go down that road. Now, it wasn't until I stopped drinking that it was clear that
give you double high five again.
I wasn't just hurting myself, but I was hurting every person I loved.
You were hurting a lot of people, including me.
Yes.
Including me.
Yes. And
you didn't want to do that.
And I'm telling you, God, honest truth, I have never been so clear in my mind. And it's so refreshing.
Focused, right?
Focused.
Never been this focused, right? Laser focused.
Yes, but even having clear thoughts,
clarity,
clear, rational thoughts is a good way to put it.
You've reached an extreme level of clarity.
Yes. Okay. And that I had to take accountability. That was my first freaking lesson where I got smacked in the face. And actually it was refreshing because I saw change in myself. I saw I was able to do it. And I didn't I had Eli, don't get me wrong. I feel I could not have gotten to the point of believing in myself without him, believing the change I could make. But certainly I did this.
You did the work yourself.
I quit. I went through rehab. I got that all done. And I know people, they're critics. They're going to say, oh, she's still drinking, whatever. Say that. You don't know me. You don't live here. Some people say...
They don't have access to our cameras here.
Yeah, they don't have access to our cameras, our bank
You don't have an audio and video feed into our home.
You don't have GPS on our car.
Right.
It's just people's
I hope they have a GPS on our car. I better go get one of those GPS scanners. You never know.
Blockers. Get them blocked.
Well, that's true, too. Yeah.
But yeah, no. It's not, I'm just saying, you don't know me. So I can be open with my story. I tell the truth. And I know that the people out there that listen and care take that and they are appreciative of my truth and my vulnerability with you all.
Right.
So for the other ones, I'm sorry, sorry you feel the way you do.
Yeah.
Take a look at yourself. Make a change.
Anything else, babe?
No, my love.
Okay. You want my response?
Yeah.
Okay. So can someone genuinely apologize and take accountability if they continue repeating the same behavior? Or does true accountability require visible change? So if we go back to Michael Jackson's Man in the Mirror again, second verse, I've been a victim of a selfish kind of love. It's time that I realize. Listen to that last line I just said. It's time that I realize. Visible change is not going to happen until you realize that you are the problem. Period. End of story. You can't blame anyone else for any of your problems besides yourself, even if you didn't cause the problem, right? Because even if someone else is causing problems for you, there's a right and a wrong way to handle it. I'm not going to get into that right now, but there is a right and a wrong way to handle it, right? But again, until you realize that what you're doing is wrong and, genuinely apologize, take the accountability for your actions, right? And start becoming a more responsible person. Okay, nothing's going to change. True accountability does require a visible change because we're living in a world where people are going to see how you behave. Your behavior and your actions are going to affect the people that are closest to you and other people too. What I do affects Dawn not indirectly, directly. It affects her. It affects these two amazing dogs. It affects my mother. It affects my aunt, my cousin. You have to understand that the actions that you take, they may not in that moment affect you if it's something you do that's crazy and dumb, but they're going to immediately affect the people that you care about the most and maybe others as well. You got to realize that, okay? You got to realize that you made some mistakes, own up to them, accept responsibility, and hold yourself accountable. That's it. Period. All right, babe. Should we get to number 4?
Yeah.
Or did you have anything else you wanted to?
No.
No. Number 4, we are at 45 minutes. After these 2, we'll go and we'll have you take your first break.
Look at this one. It's like hanging off.
The little dog is asleep, and the little dog's asleep on your chair.
I know, but he's like hanging halfway off.
Asleep.
These little bums hanging off.
It's all good. They're nice and calm.
Silly dogs.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. Number 4, my love. Dawn, how can we take responsibility for our own actions without accepting blame for circumstances, decisions, or behavior that genuinely belong to somebody else? So I've done this many times, but go ahead. That's a great question.
I take responsibility for other people's actions a lot.
Why do you do that?
It's just the way that I've always been. It's more like
it's a save the world mentality because you want to help save everyone.
Yes, and my mother has, excuse her French, but my mother says you are not Captain Save-A-Ho. So stop trying. And I've had to step back and say I can't do anything. I love you, but I can't do anything. And, those are the people that I've lost in my life because of things that they're doing.
Because of the choices that they made. Not just now, but many years ago, decades ago, it all compounds. What you do now or what you've done in the past may be affecting you now. What you do now is going to affect you in the future, even if it doesn't affect you right now.
Oh, I mean, we watch a lot of those documentaries on things where somebody is murdered and then they have to find the person. And sometimes, this murder or offense happens and then they don't find you for like 20 years. You just are living off the grid or just floating under that line of being seen. And then one day they come knocking at your door and they say, we've opened up a cold case and your name came up.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Oh crap. Now I have to be accountable for what I did 25 years ago.
That's right.
God damn it.
I've seen a lot of those shows where, people thought they got away with murder, and 30 years later, they come a knocking in with newer DNA technology nowadays. Ooh. So if they preserved the evidence, which most agencies, most law enforcement agencies preserve evidence, you can run it through modern DNA systems like what is it, Codex and stuff.
CODIS,
whatever it's called, right?
Yeah. Wait, CODIS is, it is part of the same thing, yeah. But yeah, that's just my thing is there is no responsibility or accountability until somebody has to hold you accountable.
It's called CODIS, you're right.
Yeah. So,
Combined DNA Index System is what it stands for.
Yeah, okay. So, shoot. Go on, because I lost it.
It's okay. Yeah, no, we were just talking about, accepting, blame for other people's mistakes because we're such good people. We care about people. We're trying to rescue people. And we're trying to rescue them by blaming ourselves for their actions. Go ahead.
If you wind up being late to a doctor's appointment or an appointment and it's your fault, you'll go in there and say, I'm sorry, my ride was late, when in fact you were just running late yourself. That's not taking any accountability for being late to your appointment. You're throwing it on your friend or your spouse or whoever drove you, which is not the right thing to do. Own it. Say, I've done it.
Except when it happens between us, it is my fault.
Yeah, and I tell him
I'll accept responsibility for that and hold myself accountable.
I make him apologize all the time.
I always do.
But if it's my fault, I'll tell him, I'm sorry.
She does.
I overslept. He couldn't get me up, whatever, just moving
She's
slow.
way too honest. And again, and I'm the same way. And I used to be honest to a fault. That's exactly what we're talking about here in this question. And that's what your mother's been trying to say to you is be honest, but don't be honest to a fault of somebody else.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you can't save the world. I mean, it's a beautiful thought. I'm sure your mother loves you for it. I love you for it. And I'm the same way. But I've just learned to understand that the only person that can really control or really help is myself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yes, we can attempt to help other people. Some people may be open to help, and we can, gently nudge people to do the right thing. But the only person that everyone can only truly hold accountable is yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the whole point of this today. Anything else, babe?
Well, unless you can, like we've been saying, look in the mirror and see that what happened was all your fault. You're never going to be able to hold yourself accountable.
Right. All right. We are at 51 minutes. Last question before the break. Question number 5, my lovely lady. What is one situation from your own life where accepting accountability helped you grow, repair a relationship, or make a better decision in the future? I think you already mentioned it. Sobriety.
I mentioned it with the sobriety. It has definitely helped the relationship with my mother and I,
absolutely.
my father and I.
Oh, yeah.
I have never been close with my father. Like, I've always idolized him, but he's always out working or with the boys shooting guns or camping, hiking, whatever. But I've never been closer to my dad. And I'm a daddy's girl. I am. And my mother is my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And Eli knows I cry for my mom. I do. If I'm not feeling good or if I'm really angry about something, I do. I cry. I want my mama.
Why do you think when I first met you, almost 5 years ago, and you were going through all this and you were crying for your mom for help, and then the support wasn't there at that point, which is why
you didn't understand.
I didn't understand what was going on.
And that's what made you upset with my mom. But then once you learned why she was acting the way she was because I was never taking accountability. I didn't say, Mom, I'm sorry.
You kept saying you're going to make that change, but you never did.
I never did. I said, yeah, I'll stop drinking. I never did. I'll go get help. Never did. And once I did, yeah, it still took time. It took almost about 8 months before she really was like, oh, wow, I can really hear. I could see the advancements that Dawn's making cognitively and in her life. And so, not that I was not cognitively right. Let me just state that for a fact. But no, I'm talking a clearer mind is being cognitively clearer.
Oh, yes. You are much more cognitively clear. And I mean, you were always a smart person. I always loved you. The thing is, you're not clouded by the excess alcohol.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm very proud of myself.
Yeah.
And that is why I feel free to talk about this openly. I've had so much criticism on the YouTube side that frankly
doesn't bother you anymore.
It doesn't bother me. Like I said, you don't live with me. You don't know me. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's my story. And if it can help somebody out there,
stronger.
It has made me stronger. Mm-hmm. And if anybody out there is struggling and just hears my words, if that could help anybody, I don't need to know.
Your story, I'm sure, has already helped a lot of people. It's just that maybe they haven't come forward yet. But your story is amazing to me. And honestly, most importantly, it's amazing for yourself. And, as long as you are happy within yourself now and you feel that you've had an amazing turnaround, that's the most important thing right there.
And if anybody out there does relate with the story or would like to talk or chat with me, you can always contact Eli on his email. He
Elias
can
Nellis
forward,
at genuinenetworkingassociation.org. Links below in the description of wherever you're listening to this or watching this.
and he could forward me the email or forward me your address.
Eventually, all the GNA executives will have an email. We're going to be switching the emails to gnanetwork.org. GNAnetwork.org is a lot shorter than genuinenetworkingassociation.org. And GNA Network stands for Genuine Networking Association Network, which is, we are a network. So that's going to be, I think I'm going to hold off to roll that out until the beginning of 2027. Because right now we're just starting to finally really get a good foundation within the executive team. I mean, I love the team, but we are really starting to make some progress finally now. And I'm looking forward to, taking it even further and more forward in 2027. So, anything else, or you want me to respond real quick before you take your break?
No, just to end with that. Yeah, I'm here to help anybody. I'm here to listen to anybody. I appreciate all you guys, and I have heard feedback, and it's been great feedback, and you guys are all wonderful people. I would mention a couple of the channel names, but the people out there listening would have no idea. So I'm just, you all know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You've talked to me about it, and so thank you. But no, I can over to you now for your response on that. How you feel?
Well, thank you, my love.
I was just letting you know I was done, silly.
Well, what is one situation from my own life where accepting accountability helped me grow, repair a relationship, or make a better decision in the future? I'll keep saying this story for however long. I've mentioned it on YouTube many times, maybe a couple times on the podcast. 6 months before my father passed away, I was living in an apartment at that time, and I came over to this house here where now Don and I live. We share it with my mother. I came over because I had some of my mail still coming here, and my dad was home, and I told my dad, "Do you have a minute?" I asked my dad, "Do you have a minute?" And he said, "Yes, son, of course." I told my dad, I apologize, Dad, for what? For everything. What do you mean everything, son? For everything that I did wrong. Every time I didn't listen to you, you were right about every time. You were right about women. He had a famous line. I'm not going to say that line right now. It's funny what a man will do for a piece of, I'm not going to say it. It's,
use your imagination.
A female's body part, right? The P word, right? I'm trying to grow up at 52. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be a little bit more mature, right? Or mature, right? But I said, you were right about that because, my dad didn't like one of my girlfriends, and he was right. He was absolutely right. I said, you know what, Dad, you were absolutely right. He goes, well, son, you were younger and you didn't understand, but I'm proud of you and this and that. And it was, during a time where I was recently licensed as an insurance broker, and my dad was really happy that I got into a good career and blah, 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 right? So that was the point where I, accepted accountability, and it allowed me to, I never had a bad relationship with my dad, but I could have treated my dad a lot better than I did. He was a very firm but fair man, but he was right about everything. And because of the way he raised me is why I turned out the way that I did. And it has definitely helped me make better decisions in the future. Every decision that I make, I think of how my dad would have handled it. I think about how my dad would have handled it back in the days, when he was, raising us and providing for us, my mother and my brother and myself. And he was the sole provider until my mother got a job. When I was 16 and my brother was 14 and a half, almost 15. And that situation is very touching to me, because had my father passed away without me being able to come clean with him like that, I would still be living with that to this day. Probably would have messed me up pretty bad. Would have probably found a way out of it. I hope I would have. But I'm just glad that I had that opportunity. And I'll tell you, if you have the opportunity to accept accountability, and to just show how responsible you are and how decent of a person you are, to whoever you may have wronged, even if you don't think you're wrong, if somebody feels that you've been wrong, listen to them. Ask them why they feel that way. Apologize to them. Even if you're not wrong, say, hey, look, I don't understand what's going on here, but I know you're not feeling good, and what matters to me is the fact that you're not feeling good. And if I can do something to help you feel better, please let me know. I'm sorry if I've caused you any problems. When you say I'm sorry if I've caused you, you're not basically coming out and admitting something you didn't do. You're saying that for whatever reason this person feels bothered by me or harmed by me or hurt by me. Some people are just, in such a terrible state that maybe they're jealous and they're just projecting. But even then, to those people, you can approach them in a decent way. And even if they, don't respond in a positive way in that situation, just know deep within it is making a good effect on them. It really is, whether they admit it or not. So that's that. Anything else, babe?
Not that I can think of right now before we move on with Reddit after my potty break.
Okay, we're at exactly 1 hour. Let me turn off the camera.
Can I just tell you, look at this kid?
Can you tell me what?
Look at this kid. He's like sliding.
Yeah. He had little Buster is resting. All right. So Dawn's going to step away and take her break. And while she does that, let me remind all of you once again that if you're listening to us on the audio-only podcast network, such as Apple, Spotify, Amazon's Music, my lady's favorite, iHeartRadio. We're also on Amazon's Audible. We're also on YouTube's Music. On YouTube's Music, there's audio and video, because the video version of our podcast, like I'm going to mention here in a second, is on our main YouTube channel. So also we're on many of the not as popular and not as well known audio-only podcast networks. Do a Google search for the Don and Eli Take on the World podcast, and you'll see where we're at, audio only. It'll also probably redirect you to our, video versions. But I'll tell you where the video version is. If you listen to us audio only, go up in the description of wherever you're listening to us audio only, about halfway down, you'll see the link to that particular episode's video version. You can click that link. It'll redirect you back to our main channel, GNA, Genuine Personal Development. When you go there, please subscribe, bang the bell, and select the notifications so you don't miss anything. Then go below that description section, about a couple lines down, you'll see the link to our secondary live streaming channel, GNA2, Genuine Live Personal Development, where we go live. We used to go live more often. Lately, I've been going live about once a week. I used to go live almost every day. We're going to try to get back to a more consistent live streaming schedule. Right now, we're putting out one pre-recorded video on the main channel, this podcast, and then we're doing one live stream on the secondary channel. But there's a lot more content coming. We're just sorting out some other aspects. I myself am working some freelancing jobs. I'm trying to consolidate that to basically cut my hours down and make the same amount of money. And there are ways to do that, good ways to do that. I'm working on that. Once we get there, there will be more content. So, and on GNA2, we do live streams from the studio, just like where we record this podcast. Sometimes Don joins me. Sometimes we have guests. Sometimes I do it on my own. I do Walking with Purpose streams every so often. Sometimes even Don will join me on those. Sometimes Don and I will do Don and Eli on the couch with Don and Eli. Sometimes we'll do Driving with Purpose videos. Typically Don's with me on those when we're going out of town or taking a day off and going to do something. Or sometimes I just go live. If I have to go run a long distance errand and I'll go live from the car, Driving with Purpose. So that is that. I'm just waiting for Dawn to come back into the studio. I believe she is heading back this way. It looks like she's about to open the door. I'm watching her from the security. We have security cameras everywhere here, which is good. This house is very protected. We have ADT security for fire and burglary. Excellent. We got 2 dogs. We got neighborhood watch. We got cameras everywhere. We got signs saying, are you okay?
Yeah.
Let me turn on the camera. Ready?
Yeah. Okay.
We've got signs saying, smile, you're on camera, and no trespassing. We should put signs out there that say, beware of dogs.
Oh, we should.
We should. But,
no, cameras inside and outside everywhere. We're completely
absolutely
safe.
It's all good. Anyway, welcome back, my love.
Well, thank you.
Shall we get to the 3 Reddit postings?
Yeah, I was actually, I was thinking out there, I'm actually kind of disappointed in myself because I was looking into this and I was reading an article from Psychology Today and I didn't save it.
It's a great site.
And it was a great article on the differences.
Your
and
therapist actually gets the hard copies. I didn't even know that Psychology Today actually has hard copies.
Yes, they do.
But they're also online with the blogs and stuff.
That's what I was reading. But yeah, no, she's actually given us several copies when I was going inpatient, like into her office. But yeah, no, it was a great article and it really was depicting responsibilities that people have versus the things that they do outside of their responsibilities that they need to hold accountable. And it was getting a lot of good references, a lot of the same ones we've been saying today, but still it was really good. And so, I didn't save it. I'm so mad at myself. But if y'all want to, all I did was, type in Psychology Today and, then I just put that in as I searched that and came up with this. It came up with a couple different articles, but this one, so you can go there and you can kind of look it up and read the different articles on what it says about this topic. And, maybe it'll just give you another perspective or, who knows? It might correlate with everything we're saying.
Excellent. 1 hour and 9 minutes right now. We're at 1 hour and 9 minutes.
Yes.
So let's get to the first of 3 Reddit postings. Wonderful. My love. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
You see this says responsibility back here. You see that?
Yes. It's pointing towards me.
That's funny. It just happens to be pointing that way, baby. That's the way the picture was made.
I know.
Nothing personal. No pun intended.
It's
or anything
not
like that.
Responsibility, and you need it.
We all need it, baby. We all need it.
I know. You weren't pointing me out there or singling me out.
I know. You're just trying to be funny, and you are. You're a lot funnier than I am, babe.
Oh, I'm hysterical. I really
You
am.
absolutely are.
Some of the things that come out of my mouth, like, I'm like, where the hell did that come out of?
As I've gotten older, I've gotten extremely boring, and I'm actually happy being boring at 52 because there's a lot less drama. When you're boring, you don't have as much drama, and I'd rather be boring with no drama in my life than be this cool, energetic, overly crazy dude. In my 40s, I was kind of like that. I was just, it's really time to grow up.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But now, I mean, my mom and I could like laugh for hours on the phone at things that I say.
All right, let's get to the Reddit posting here. We're going to switch over to the browser source. This first one is from the subreddit r/ask women, baby. Look at it's pink.
What?
Pink and purple, baby.
My favorite colors.
Mm-hmm. Original poster's title states, what do you think is the difference between responsibility and accountability? Do you believe this distinction, if any, makes a difference in how you react to a situation? We just shared our thoughts about that. Should we see what the first comment says? And then
see what their thoughts are.
This is just my opinion, but responsibility is trying not to mess up, while accountability is owning up for when you mess up.
You know? Babe, round of applause.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's a big round of applause. Yeah. Big round of applause. I could not have said it better myself. I could not have said it better
I think we're just in sync on that.
Well, yeah. I mean, responsibility is trying not to mess up, while accountability is owning up for when you mess up.
Yeah.
I mean, that right there, we could say, have a great one. We'll see you next week. And that just sums
Wraps
it up.
Yeah.
That just sums it up. And we still have a ways to go. Anyway.
Okay, another comment.
Yeah, let's get to that here. A pretty solid take, to be honest. I'd add that responsibility feels more proactive when accountability is reactive, like you're either preventing problems or cleaning up after them. Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, that's basically like that is taking responsibility and accountability when you are cleaning up the mess that you've made of a situation or even just a mess of anything. So, yeah, I agree with that comment there from that user.
Same with the next person. They say, I agree with this fully.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Let's get to the next one. I'm trying to get your cues down for when you're done so we can just boom.
Oh, okay.
It's okay. We're good.
I can give you like a baseball.
No, you don't. No, you just pause and you're done. It's all good. I'm used to.
I can go and back to you.
You have
Eli.
tremendously improved every aspect of your life, including podcasting and all that. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you. I was, I grew up kind of being a shy girl. And
you were never really shy.
Well, but like you've talked about having like the initial stage fright, not wanting to
Everybody
speak.
has that, but you're a pretty social person.
Now I am social.
And I have been social for the most part. The thing is, I've just been, the reason why you think I don't come off social when we go out certain places, a lot of times I'm just really tired because there's just so many things going on.
Baby, you're always tired.
Yeah, but I'm figuring out the schedule to be less tired.
Yeah,
my goal is to be less tired in 2027. That's going to be my New Year's resolution.
I'm going to hold you to that.
Okay, thank you.
It's a positive goal.
It's a very positive goal. It's going to be my New Year's resolution for 2027. New Year's Eve 2026. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's read a couple more here. Okay. They don't need to necessarily overlap, but can. You can be responsible for things without being at fault for them, i.e. an example. You are responsible for your trauma even though it is not your fault.
Yes,
Yeah.
truth.
Absolutely. Accountability is when you are at fault for something. It is about acknowledging that fault, but you can be accountable without being responsible for undoing the negative consequence. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So, for example, if a kid breaks their sibling's toy, they are held accountable for breaking the toy, but they aren't responsible for fixing or replacing it. Well, they're not working or making money. They're young.
They're kids.
Right.
Let's use
And
another
that's gonna happen.
example.
The parents just want the kid to learn their lesson.
Yeah. Use another example, like you wrecked your brother's car, you know?
Right.
Then, yes, you're going to have to pay your brother back or buy him a new car. But that's because you're an adult, not a child. It just was a bad example, I think.
Right. Right. And often they do overlap, though. If you fuck up, you are held accountable for the fuck up and responsible for the cleanup.
Yes.
How about another big, huge round of applause? Excellent. Well said. Well stated there. All right. So, let's read one more from this one here. Stuck by Fire says, responsibility is about who owns a task or role in the first place.
True.
While accountability is about who has to answer for how things actually turned out.
Yeah.
Well said. I mean, I have nothing more to add because that's well said. Go ahead.
It is like your example of, okay, so you are a manager and you have your employees. Your employees mess up. Yes, they are going to be responsible for their mess up. And if they don't show accountability to you, you've got to show accountability for why they're acting that way. Like, did they get trained the wrong way? Are you going to relook at the training, booklet or whatever? Like, how are you going to fix this bad employee? Aren't you saying the same thing? Like, it's the boss has to hold accountability for an employee's mess up, but also the employee has to take responsibility.
Oh, yeah. But see, it is the boss's responsibility to hold the employee accountable. If the employee does something wrong and then the boss doesn't hold them accountable, such as if it warrants a write-up or a performance improvement, write-up, right, disciplinary action, then a higher boss can hold, the boss accountable, right?
Well, yeah, for instance, if you have an employee that's constantly late, but you really like that employee, they work well once they get there. If you are not doing the write-ups and then your DM sees the time clocks and all that stuff, they're going to come to you and be like, what the heck are you doing? It's like this guy is late almost every day.
You got to treat everyone the same.
The same way.
And here's the thing. If a higher boss or district manager or a vice president looks at the time clock and sees everyone clocking in 5-10 minutes late every shift, if they do an audit like that, guess where it falls back on? The actual manager, not the employees. Yes, the employees will be held accountable too, but so will you.
Yeah. And that's your job to hold the employees accountable.
Lose your job for that. Yep.
Yeah. You signed up for it.
Yep. And yep. All right. Let's continue here. Responsibility exists before anything happens, and accountability shows up after there's a result, especially if something went wrong. If something goes right, that's the end of it. You probably never hear about it again, but when something goes wrong, you never hear the end of it.
Oh, you never hear the end of it.
Never hear the end of it, right?
Oh, I mean, my mom and I were laughing about that. We were laughing about how sometimes the older generation doesn't think before they speak. And sometimes they'll bring up a story from 40 years ago. Like,
Yeah.
oh, remember when you were out shopping and you dropped Dawn on her head? Like, and that never happened. I'm using that as an
I
example.
sure as hell hope nobody ever dropped you on your head.
No, it's just that example.
People think that my parents dropped me on my head many times, but that's okay. Let them think that. Right.
I don't think that happened. But
no, never did.
No, but it's like they'll say something stupid like that, and I'm sitting there and I'm 40 years old going, where the hell did this come from? But it's like
Came out of nowhere,
left field. Like we're sitting there talking about, flowers. And then, oh yeah, you remember that time that at Dean, he ate flowers.
The time?
And I was like, yeah. And remember
that was MJ also.
Yes.
Michael Jackson. Yeah.
And I just joking with her, I'm like, oh yeah, you remember when my son did this and, Ashley did that. And, it's funny sometimes to like the mistakes that one makes, like, and it all turns out to be okay in the long run. And that's what usually happens in parenting. You make a lot of mistakes and it all winds up working out.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's just funny, how that happens. Yeah, sorry, go on.
That's okay. All right. You can share responsibility, but accountability usually falls on the person who has to explain, fix, or take the consequences regardless of intent. If you want to be a solid leader or partner or friend, you have to take accountability. Big, huge round of
applause.
That's a great way. I have nothing more to add to that because it was well said. I mean, it was absolutely well said. Anything else, babe, before we move to the next one? Okay, let's go ahead and switch over here. All right. So this next Reddit posting is from the subreddit r/emotional intelligence. I love this subreddit. I do. I love it.
Okay.
Why have I never joined this? Let's join. Welcome to our subreddit, u/coach_Eli. Okay, thank you. Why is accountability? The original poster's title states, why is accountability so hard even when we know it is the right thing to do? That's a great title, great question, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I've been reflecting a lot on accountability and why it is such a challenge for many of us, myself included. That's good to reflect on that because that's taking the first step.
Yeah.
To holding yourself accountable. It is not that we don't know it is the right thing to do. It is just that sometimes it feels uncomfortable to face up to our actions and take responsibility, even when we know deep down that we shouldn't. You feel ashamed and you don't want your friends to feel like you're a fuck up. That's what it boils down to. Go ahead. Am I wrong?
Oh, no. I've thought of an example, but I'm going to keep that one to myself right now. I think I played that one out a little too much.
Okay. Anything else you want to add, or should
No, move on.
Okay. You got me curious now. We'll talk offline.
Yeah.
For me, I used to be more defensive about it. Same here. In my younger days, I was very defensive. I thought I was right about everything. I thought everyone else was wrong, and I could never admit my flaws or my faults. I could never accept responsibility for my actions. I made more excuses.
Same.
Than both of my hands and my fingers and toes combined. So anyway.
Same.
Because admitting fault was hard. Sorry, for me, I used to be more defensive about it. If someone called me out, I'd push back, not necessarily because I didn't understand what I'd done, but because admitting fault was hard over time, I learned that it takes reflection first. I need space to sit with what happened, think about my actions, and understand how they affected others. Only then do I feel ready to take responsibility, not just by apologizing. Apologizing is not apologizing, but that's okay. But by making a conscious effort to change my behavior. Oh, they're from another country. That may be how they spell it in the UK, because they spell behavior with a V-I-O-U-R. Behavior.
Possibly.
It's probably
Possible.
they're probably from the UK. Anything you want to say about that so far, babe?
No.
Okay. Now, it is not so much that others are calling me out. They rarely do. But I bet before they called you out when you were trying to cover things up.
Mm-hmm.
But I find that I'm often the first one to recognize when I messed up. That's the point.
Well, that's a good start there, yeah.
It's like I've come to terms with the fact that accountability is part of growth, and I don't need to wait for someone else to bring it up.
Perfect, yes.
Anything else?
No, that's a good start. Like I said, that's where you need to start.
Absolutely. But I've also seen how accountability plays out in different areas of life, whether it is with family members who don't take responsibility for their actions. That does happen.
Yes.
Companies that avoid admitting mistakes, or healthcare professionals who fail to acknowledge when their actions have caused harm.
That's a good one.
Okay, go ahead.
Ouch. No, that's a good thing that, like they brought up there. That happens a lot out there in the medical world. That's why I always, if you have any like weird feelings, always get a second advice.
Mm-hmm.
Because doctors, nurses,
they're human.
They're all human beings. Mm-hmm. And we're not perfect. We are not an endless realm of knowledge. We are not ChatGPT or Google. Mm-hmm. And so, yes, you actually have to feel comfortable with your doctor in order, like, for you to get the care that you need. So,
right.
You do have to hold these people accountable for their care for you.
You got to find the right medical team. You did. We researched it, and you got so lucky. You have had the best care I've ever seen ever.
I completely agree. Completely.
Oh, absolutely. There's no way you can't agree with that. It's changed your life. It's changed my life, all for the better.
If I say any different, I will be struck by lightning.
I hope not.
Because it would be the biggest lie in the world.
Yes, at least you're taking accountability. You're holding yourself accountable, and you're being responsible.
And funny all at the same time.
And you're holding yourself accountable. Yeah, and you're funny as hell, too. All right, let's continue. Here. It is frustrating when others avoid accountability, especially when you're trying to hold yourself accountable. It makes me wonder, why is accountability so hard for some people, even when they know it is the right thing to do? It's because people feel shame. And until you get to the point of where you're shameless, just like Garth Brooks and myself and Don, I'm shameless, right?
When it comes to loving you.
Or anything else. Listen, when you get to the point of where you become shameless, nobody can shame you. At that point, every time you screw up, you're like, I don't give a shit. I fucked up.
Yeah.
Right?
My bad.
Okay. I'm human. Aren't you human too? Don't you fuck up too?
I'm only human.
Right. Born to make mistakes. Right. How do you personally work through taking responsibility when it is uncomfortable? You got to get to the point of where you feel comfortable. You got to get to the point of where you feel comfortable. You got to
suck it up.
Like I said, you got to get to the point where you're shameless. When I first started doing YouTube full-time or semi-full-time, almost 10 years ago, I felt a lot of shame for the things that I was being called out on. Some of it was true, some of it wasn't true. I got to the point of where I don't feel shame anymore. I'm shameless. I really don't care what anyone thinks about me. In general, of course, obviously I care about what you think about me and people that are close to me, but I don't care what, no-name people on the internet, or even people that do have a name that I don't know or aren't close to me. I don't care what they think of me or say about me. You got to get to that point of where it doesn't bother you. Go ahead.
Yeah. How do you think most celebrities and, people out there do it?
They're
They
shameless.
get rolled all the time, super hard. And they just are like, whatever, I'm making the money. You're sitting in your basement.
That's it. Amen. Amen. Let's read one comment from that one, and then we'll get to the last Reddit. Okay.
Uh-huh.
It is an ego thing, I think. It is much easier for some to complain that they can't do anything about their situation than fix it. It is an ego thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's an ego thing where they feel like they would be losing value amongst their peers if they have to admit to something wrong. When the truth of the matter is, they would probably respect you a hell of a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
So it is an ego thing. I think it's much easier for some to complain that they can't do anything about their situation than fix it, because it means they didn't do anything wrong and can soak up sympathy from others.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen people on YouTube do that, social media do that. I've seen that happen in the real world. I've seen even grown men act pathetically weak on the internet, seeking constant sympathy from others.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that is absolutely the most pathetic, insecure behavior for a man to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you can probably agree with that.
Absolutely.
Plus, to get up and do something about it will raise the question of why they didn't sooner. That's true.
True.
That goes without saying. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, that is absolutely true.
Knowing,
It's almost like, okay, what kicked in now? Did you just wake up, or like why the change now? Why do you want to?
Why all of a sudden are you changing?
Yeah. What happened
the
there?
epiphany hit you or something, right?
Yeah, that come to Jesus
or
talk.
You got called out, and now you're like, I can't lie anymore because people are calling me on the truth, and they have proof of the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I got to come clean and apologize and, own it, right?
Mm.
Knowing you suffered for nothing is too bitter a pill for some people to swallow. Yeah. I'm going to leave that one alone.
Yeah.
All right. Let's switch over to the last one here. We are at 1 hour and 32 minutes. This final Reddit is from the subreddit r/bropill. Kind of like the pills of MGTOW, men going their own way. Bro pill. Okay. Original poster's title states, "How to take responsibility, ? How to take responsibility, ?
You tell me.
Here's what he said in the brief, small, I think 3-sentence paragraph. Everyone says that in order to really be a man, you have to take responsibility. Well, and everyone that says that is right.
I think if you want to be a human.
I'm going to join this subreddit too.
Oh, honey.
Bro pill. Who knows? Maybe I can help him. Who knows?
Who knows? Move on.
So yeah, a huge part of being a man is being responsible and accepting responsibility. That's manly as hell.
I'm going to go back to saying I think every human should want to take accountability and stand up.
Including women, but honestly, one of the main things women can't stand about men is
weakness.
Irresponsibility.
Irresponsibility, weakness. Yes.
Insecurity, weakness, but being irresponsible, even if they're not weak, being irresponsible, it's just as bad. Mm-hmm. What does that actually mean, though? It means to take responsibility for shit that you fuck up on.
Yep.
What do you think it means? Is that just saying that's my fault, my bad? Yes.
That's where you start.
That's it. Or is there more to it? No. That's
you
it.
start there.
You start with, that's my fault, my bad.
Now, what can I do about it?
I hate the phrase my bad. That irritates me. Some
Yeah.
people say my bad.
I say my bad.
Well, you're my lady. You can get away with it.
I think that's because sometimes you just don't even hear a lot of things that come out of my mouth.
No, I hear
I
hear everything that comes out of your mouth. It's just that sometimes I'm tired, and it's like if it's something that doesn't warrant a response, I hear it, and I'm just like, okay. And then you're like, oh, baby, you look hot. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then it's like, and then you look at me funny. It's like, okay, what do you want me to do? Oh yeah, I'm the hottest shit in the world. What do you want me to do? What the hell do you want me to do?
Look at me and say thank you.
I did say thank you. I love you.
I love you.
All right. I know someone who doesn't take any responsibility, and they always say, it's not my fault. Well, they have a problem then. They have a problem accepting responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
They have a problem holding themselves accountable.
Remove those words from your vocabulary.
Yep. So I know someone who doesn't take any responsibility, and they always say it is not my fault. So I know what not to say because that guy is very annoying. Oh, very annoying. He's just somebody you don't want to be around. He's a negative person. It's not about
don't be around him.
Yeah, it's not even about being annoying. It's about being around someone that is irresponsible. Being around someone that's a liar because they can't face the mistakes that everyone makes, right?
Mm-hmm. But that's a choice you're making. If you're getting frustrated with how this guy is or girl is having their life or leading their life, but you keep coming around, then that's on you. You have every opportunity to walk away and not watch, you know?
Right. All right. Let's go through 2 comments, and then we're going to wrap this baby up. Okay? Okie dokie. We are at 1 hour and 36 minutes. Excellent show, baby. Excellent topic.
I know.
I should listen to you more often, babe.
Absolutely. That's a great idea.
I actually listen to her quite often, but I'm trying to be funny, which I'm not. Stop Hanging DJ says, if it's a mistake, admit you effed up. Apologize if appropriate. Offer to fix your mistake as soon as possible. Well said.
Simple. Easy breezy.
If it's just about taking responsibility as in agreeing to a task, just make sure you do it competently. Competently, yes, with competence, right?
Yeah, don't take on a responsibility if you don't feel comfortable with doing it or you don't understand. You know, if you take that on and say, oh yeah, I got you, I can do that, but you have no idea what you're doing, then you don't got them and you're going to let them down.
How many times you hear people say, I got you, and then they don't.
I got you.
I got you, and they didn't get you.
Mm-mm.
That typically happens like 8 out of 10 times.
Mm-hmm.
The I got you doesn't work for me. Shouldn't work for you either. Yeah. One more here. Kalar Think says, when people say take responsibility is a big part. When people say take responsibility, a big part is exactly this. Noticing when you make a mistake, apologizing for said mistake, and doing what you can to fix, in caps, fix your mistake. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. The other side is being self-sufficient. You need to be able to take care of yourself without anyone's help. If you needed, I think he meant to say 2, but it said they wrote do. That means making enough money to survive off of, being responsible for all your own chores, and taking care of your mental and physical health. There is nothing wrong with sharing responsibilities with friends, families, or partners. Those are called accountability partners.
Mm-hmm.
And the best accountability partner to have is your significant other. In this case, she holds me accountable. I hold her accountable.
You know, and you do that with friends, but you need to have just a handful. I've got 4 lady friends, girlfriends that I do trust like that, and that we have that relationship. We'll call each other out. We'll hold each other accountable, all of that. But you can't have a big group of friends that you rely on. You got to just kind of have that core group. That's what I feel works for me. Ouch.
Okay. there is nothing wrong with sharing responsibilities with friends, families, or partners, i.e. your partner works full-time and pays for part of your bills, so you do all the cooking. But the idea is push come to shove, you can take care of yourself. By the way, being responsible in either sense doesn't mean being perfect. Let me repeat that. Being responsible doesn't mean being perfect, right, babe?
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah.
It is perfectly acceptable to mess up all the time. The idea is to learn from your mistakes, and it says no require, but I think they meant to say not require other people to pick up the pieces for you. Let's switch back to full screen. Wow. Well said.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been saying that for years.
You know, Eli is really good about double, tripling, quadrupling, checking everything that he is doing as far as
I'm OCD, baby.
Oh, complete OCD.
I have massive obsessive compulsive disorder because I have to quadruple check everything before I move on, because accuracy to me is critical.
It's critical in getting everything to move quicker.
I'm going to put a big, huge O on my head, right? Or I need to get a hat that says OCD.
Yeah.
I own it.
I think you should. I mean, I do have this shirt that says beautiful crazy.
That's true.
That's true. I own that.
You can wear your beautiful crazy shirt. I can wear my OCD hat wherever we go.
It will be the perfect couple.
Absolutely. We already are the perfect couple. You know, that goes without saying.
We definitely will take a picture and share.
Yeah. Anyway, any final thoughts, my love? No,
just another great show. Great topic. I have to pat myself on the back for that one. It definitely touches every one of us. We might have somebody in our life that's not responsible, not taking accountability, not even apologizing, and then you have some people in your life that are absolutely wonderful, and you don't even have to hold them accountable because they hold themselves accountable. And that is a wonderful relationship. That is something that Eli and I are having. There's nothing that I could do right now that I could say, well, I did that because of you. Or, I only do that because I see you doing that. No, we're individuals. We live together. We love each other. And we're learning from each other. I'm becoming a little more careful with maybe reading things and understanding them. What did I do before? Something came in the mail or on my phone. I'd hand it to him. And I'd be like, read it and deal. I walk away. Now I'm reading things. I'm understanding things. We're working together on things. And that's the beauty. He's holding me accountable for knowing what's going on with my bills and everything else that's going on. You know, now he's holding me accountable for knowing that and being responsible for, my care, not as reliant on you. And I appreciate that.
Well, thank you.
And it could come in easy little things like that. It doesn't have to be a harsh accountability.
You're right.
It's just little encouragements you give every day if your spouse is on a diet, and they're going to go buy a cheeseburger. I don't think so. You're on your diet. You have to be accountable for what you're putting in. So, I mean, just little things like that. It doesn't have to be a huge accountability. Just little things in life. And if you learn the little ones, it's not so hard to do the bigger ones.
Okay, 1 hour and 48 minutes. Wonderful. Anything else, babe?
No.
So, babe, I think what this episode really comes down to is this. We are all going to make mistakes. We are going to say things that we later regret. We are going to make decisions that do not produce the result we expected. We are going to forget something important, misunderstand somebody, lose our patience, break a promise, miss an opportunity, handle a situation poorly. And sometimes we are going to hurt people we genuinely care about. Being a responsible person does not mean that you will never make another mistake. And being accountable does not mean that you must spend the rest of your life punishing yourself for every mistake you have made. You used to do that to yourself all the time.
All the time.
And what would I tell you?
It wasn't always my fault.
No. Stop being so hard on yourself.
But I was also taking responsibility for mine and other people's actions.
But you did. You did do that. But you kept punishing yourself even after accepting responsibility. But now you've learned. You've gotten better and you've learned, right?
Mm-hmm.
It means being willing to look at yourself honestly. It means being willing to say, yes, I did that. Yes, I made that decision. Yes, I should have handled it differently. Yes, my actions affected somebody else. And yes, I am going to try to make it right. Accountability is not just saying that you are sorry. It is listening to how your actions affected another person. It is resisting the urge to immediately defend yourself. It is making an effort to repair what can be repaired. It is changing the behavior that created the problem. You got to change the damn behavior that created the problem, or the problem will keep coming back.
Yeah.
And it is accepting that the other person may need time before trust can be restored. Sometimes accountability also means accepting a consequence. You may lose an opportunity. You may damage a friendship. You may have to replace something you broke. You may have to complete work that you neglected. You may have to admit that somebody else was right. You may have to accept that your intentions do not erase the impact of your actions. You can have good intentions and still make a harmful decision. You can love somebody and still hurt them. You can, that one really hits me. You can love somebody and still hurt them. You can believe that you were helping and later discover that your actions made the situation worse. You can be under tremendous stress and still be responsible for the way you treated another person. Explaining why something happened may help people understand the situation, but an explanation should not automatically become an excuse. Saying, I was stressed, may explain why you lost your patience, but it does not erase the words you said. Saying, I forgot, may explain why you failed to follow through, but it does not complete the responsibility. Saying nobody reminded me does not always mean that the obligation belonged to somebody else. And saying that is just who I am does not mean that everybody around you must continue accepting behavior that hurts them. At the same time, we must understand the limits of personal responsibility. You are not responsible for another adult's choices. I know.
I have a hard one with that.
Yeah, but that's hard, but it's true. You are not responsible for controlling every emotion another person experiences. You are not responsible for fixing somebody who refuses to help themselves. You are not responsible for accepting abuse simply because somebody demands an apology. You are not responsible for taking the blame every time another person becomes angry. And you are not required to confess to something you did not do simply to end an argument. How many times have you and I both done that?
Yep.
Healthy accountability requires honesty from everyone involved. It requires each person to own their part. One person should not be forced to carry the responsibility for an entire relationship, an entire family, an entire workplace, or every conflict that occurs. Sometimes two people contributed to the problem. Sometimes one person contributed more than the other. And sometimes the responsibility belongs almost entirely to one person. Accountability does not require pretending that everybody is equally responsible when they are not. It requires an honest assessment of what actually happened. There are also situations in life where we are responsible even when we are not completely at fault. You may not have caused the unexpected emergency, but you may still be responsible for communicating that you will be late. You may not have created the problem at work, but if solving that problem is part of your job, you may still be responsible for helping address it. You may not control how another person reacts, but you are responsible for choosing how you communicate with them. You may not be responsible for what happened to you in the past, but as an adult, you may become responsible for seeking the help you need to prevent that pain from controlling your future. That may not always be fair, but responsibility is not always about determining who originally caused the problem. Sometimes it is about determining who has the ability to take the next constructive step. And accountability should never be used as a weapon. It should not be a way to publicly humiliate somebody. It should not be a way to control another person. It should not be a way to force an apology. It should not be a way to permanently define somebody by the worst thing they have ever done. People should be allowed to grow. People should be allowed to learn. People should be allowed to demonstrate that they have changed. But change requires more than words. It requires action. If somebody apologizes but continues doing the same thing, they may regret the consequences without truly accepting accountability. If somebody says, I'm sorry you feel that way, they may be avoiding responsibility for what they actually did. If somebody...
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I think if somebody says to you, what did you just say? Like, read the last thing.
If somebody says, I'm sorry you feel that way, they may be avoiding responsibility
so when they say,
for what they actually did.
When they say, I'm sorry you feel that way, it's basically saying, fuck you. Like, I don't care how you feel because it's your feelings. I still have my own. That's how I interpret that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Go on. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. So real accountability takes courage. It takes maturity. It takes humility. And it takes strength to look at an uncomfortable truth and say, that part belongs to me. Because once you own your part, you can begin doing something about it. You cannot correct the mistake that you refuse to acknowledge. You cannot rebuild trust while pretending that you never broke it. You cannot change a pattern that you continue blaming entirely on everybody else. And you cannot grow while spending your entire life running away from the truth. Responsibility tells us what belongs to us. Accountability asks what we are going to do about it. So own what belongs to you. Learn from it. Make it right when you can. Do better when you know better. And then give yourself permission to keep growing. Again, babe, I want to thank you for having this conversation with me. Do you have something to add?
Oh, you're welcome. No.
Thank you for having this conversation with me, babe. And just like I always say, babe, just like I always say at the end of every show, I butchered it, but what do I say?
Don't take life for granted.
Don't take life for granted. And with that being said, it is time to start
wrapping this up.
All right. You've been listening to the Don Leader Take on the World podcast. This was episode number 71. And the topic that my lovely lady Dawn came up with was Own It. Accountability versus responsibility. One more time, episode number 71 of the Don Leader Take on the World podcast is titled Own It. Accountability versus responsibility. One more time before we get on out of here. If you're listening to us on the audio-only podcast network such as Apple, Spotify, Amazon's Music, my lady's favorite,
iHeartRadio, and iHeartRadio.
Fourth time's a charm here. My lady loves iHeartRadio, and so do I. We're on iHeartRadio. We're also on Amazon's Audible. We're also on YouTube's Music, audio, and video. And we're also on many of the unknown and not as popular audio-only podcast networks. If you're listening to us audio-only and you would like to watch the video version of our podcast, go below the description section about halfway down, wherever you're listening to us audio-only. Click the link that will redirect you back to our main channel, GNA, Genuine Personal Development. While you're there, please subscribe, bang the bell, and select all notifications so you don't miss anything. Then go below in that description section of that video podcast, and you'll see the link to our secondary channel, our live streaming channel, GNA2, Genuine Live Personal Development. On that channel, we go live regularly. Lately, it's only been once a week, but we'll get back to a more regular live streaming schedule. We do Walking with Purpose streams. We do On the Couch with Don and Eli, Driving with Purpose, in-studio live streams, and so much more. Just subscribe over there as well. Bang the bell and select the notifications so you don't miss anything. With that being said, it's time to go. Have a good one. Take care, babe, and everyone else. And as always,
be good to each other.